I'm Jeff Woodward, and this is ReSkilled. Blessing Onyegbula is an IT professional with years of tech experience in some of the world's largest oil and gas companies. So what possible need could she have for a boot camp? Well, most of her experience was in her native Nigeria, and when she moved to Canada in 2018, she found herself having a hard time navigating the Canadian job market. So to help, she enrolled in the Employabilities program, with the goal that she would be able to hone her resume and better market her existing skills and knowledge. Blessing, welcome to ReSkilled.
Thank you.
So you have a degree in computer science and a master's in
Information technology.
Yeah. So you obviously know your stuff. You have a fair bit of experience working in IT. Where did this training and experience happen?
I had my education overseas and all the years of experience gathered in Nigeria. So I came to Canada in 2018.
And you worked in oil and gas in Nigeria, correct?
Yes, I worked with Shell and I worked with Total.
So I would think that all sorts of training and experience, you'd be able to come to someplace like Alberta and you would be in high demand.
Exactly. That was what I thought too. After several years of experience in international oil and gas companies, I had thought once I come to Canada, I would just hit the ground running, but that wasn't the case.
What steps did you take to sort of integrate yourself and get you into a position where you could start working in the industry again?
I went through training with the Braden Center, the Center for New Immigrants. I also registered with ERIEC, where it was like a one-on-one coaching. It helped me a lot to work on my resume, my cover letter, just to align my technical skills with what was obtainable here. But it wasn't landing me the job. I kept hearing that I needed to have the Canadian experience, the soft skills. That was what pushed me to taking a 6-month program with the Employability Center.
Obviously, you have the technical chops to do, well, I imagine just about anything in IT at this point. What was the boot camp that you did with Employabilities? What sort of skills did you guys focus on in that program?
It's a restart your career program. They take you like you have never worked before. Coach you from the beginning, what is required of you in the Canadian workspace, mostly the soft skills, how to relate with your coworkers and your employers and all that. It was very helpful. After the program, they post you out to actually go and put to practice what you've learned in the 6 months.
What were some of the skills that you worked on in that first 4 months?
I was taught how to rediscover myself, how to know my boundaries, how to respect people's boundaries, how to say no, because at times you really don't know when to say no. You just keep taking in so much that you end up burning out. I was taught how to say no nicely, how to notice if I'm burning out, because, I can burn out without even knowing. And how to respect other people's boundaries. That was one thing I was really grateful for, because before then, I could just walk into your office, sit and talk, or maybe pick something even when you're not there, and then tell you later, oh, I picked this.
That's interesting. We previously had Zume on the podcast, who is one of the heads at ERIC, and she emigrated from Nigeria. She talked about a similar thing where just culturally, the sort of way you interact with people and what's appropriate in the workplace is culturally quite different in Canada from Nigeria. So that's interesting that you would need training on that. I mean, it makes sense, right? To be able to articulate yourself in a way that's appropriate for the workplace here. Let the skills and experience that you have shine through in a way that people here will be attuned to.
Very true.
What were your school days like? Were they regular 8-hour school days? Were you in a classroom? How did that work?
Yeah, it was regular hours from 9 to 4. It was just like going back to school all over. We had adults, people in their 20s, up to people in their 60s. So it was a balanced, well-mixed blend. And it was fun, jumping the bus, jumping the train. I felt like a schoolgirl all over. And the teachers, they were amazing. warm, understanding, with passion for change. They had this passion to transform us to, people they will really be proud of.
You had 4 months classes and then 2 months of a practicum, or 6 months and then two?
I had 5 months of classes.
Oh, okay. And then a 4-week practicum?
2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
But in between the 5 months and 2 weeks, I had like job shadows. I went out to job shadow for like 3 days, 4 days, back and forth.
And that was with a few different employers?
Yeah, 3 different employers, the federal government, AIMCO, then Enbridge. I spent most of my time with Enbridge because I had 2 job shadows with them and then went back for the practicum.
What did you do for your practicum?
For my practicum, I was more like a document control person. I worked with the benefits team. I had to digitize and archive all their benefits records. I also helped to develop some templates for their accounting and tracking processes.
Those are pretty serious responsibilities for a 2-week practicum.
Yeah.
Now you're working on a contract for Enbridge, so I assume they liked you.
Yes, I'm on a contract right now, and I'm so passionate about the job. It's fulfilling, having a fresh start. The role is quite challenging and interesting. Even though I'm meant to be an admin, I'm supporting other teams. I have a project team. I'm supporting with coordinating the project. I'm also supporting the quality team to work on their invoices. It's going well. I work 2 days at the office and 3 days at home.
Has the work environment changed much during the pandemic, or have you just sort of all made accommodations to make it work?
It has changed remarkably. I just wish I can I can take the clock back. I only worked for 3 weeks before the pandemic started and everybody had to go. So right now, the people I support are hardly on site. So I do most of their work online.
Mhm.
Even when I'm at the office, I hardly find anybody. I'm just like all by myself because there's some things that one has to go there to do. I go there, but a whole lot have changed.
Yeah, it's a really different environment, when you can't just sort of ask people questions face to face, run down the hall or stand
Yeah.
up. Yeah, it's a real challenge. You waited quite a while before going into the employability program, right?
Yes, for about 6 to 8 months, I had to settle my kids in school. I had to think of myself last. But while I was getting all that done, I was trying to see if I could get a job. And then I was already busy with the braiding and the ERIEC programs. I completed my program with the Braiding Center in February, and my mentorship ended in April. And I started with employabilities. So I had things, there was
No
no,
gaps, really. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Would you recommend a boot camp like employabilities to anyone who's coming from a different place or a different career?
Definitely, I would do that. I even have a few people who are coming in, and the first thing I do, I give them the websites so they don't make the mistake I made. I wasted like 2-3 months before I got to know about ERIC and the Braiding Center. But I know if one comes here and starts off immediately, there will be a difference because from the very resume you're sending out the right format.
Do you have any words of wisdom for people who are coming into the workforce in Alberta in terms of assessing your own skills or finding someone to help you assess where you're at and what you need help with? Because it feels like you pretty quickly, as soon as you got your family and everything settled, were able to get some mentorship that helped point you in the right direction.
Yeah. I will not want people to make the kind of mistakes I made. Before they come, they should carry out their research. They should ask questions. All those I did not do. I found out all these things after spending some months here. But if they had done their research, planned back from wherever they are coming from before coming here, it would have made a big difference. And then they should not be discouraged. I'm sure I threw out over 500 applications. Yes. It sounds weird, but yes, I did.
Oh, no, I believe that. Yeah.
I did. Every single day I applied for jobs. At a point I had to, how do they call it? I had to scale down my qualifications They will tell me, take out the master's and use only the BSc. Some will say, take out the BSc and just put it at your certificates and certifications. Different ideas. I kept doing that. I will do that. I will apply for a job I won't get. There were days I broke down. There were days I cried. But after all this, I will tell myself, no going back. I'm in. I kept pushing. So I would advise them never to give up, keep pushing. There were days I went out in the snow to go and do cold calls. It did not give me the job. At the end of the day, I told myself, no, I'm going to put back all my qualifications. Every certification I have, I'm going to put it back into my resume. Anybody that sees it like this and decides to hire me, no matter the position I will take, but let them know that I have this. I will build up my experiences and I will get to where I want to get. So I will advise them, research before coming, ensure that where you live is close to your children's schools, so you don't have to stress on that. The children can easily walk to school. That will take away some stress from you. And then find out the programs that Alberta has for newcomers. There are lots of programs for newcomers. If you don't ask questions, you will not know. So I would advise them to come knowing that jobs are not on the streets. It may take a year or more. Some people are lucky, they come immediately, and just like Azume got a job almost immediately.
Yeah.
I got a job when I came the very first month. In fact, my very first application, I was offered a job, but I wasn't settled yet. I knew I couldn't take it because I was still trying to settle the children in school and all that. So I thought it was that easy. And after that, the next offer I got was a year and 2 months later. So
Wow.
They should come with a mindset that it's not going to be easy. So that way, if you come and you meet it easy, beautiful. So that's my advice.
Thank you so much for joining us on ReSkilled today, Blessing. It's been wonderful talking with you, and wish you the best of luck, and hopefully your temp contract turns into a permanent contract soon.
Thank you.
It seems to me that the more certain you are that you want and need to learn new things, the more you benefit from the process. It's equally clear, though, that it's of the utmost importance to ask some tough questions before you register in a boot camp. Ask to see their curriculum. Does it seem to actually give you the foundation of learning you need? Find the right environment. Even if you're in a tight spot career-wise, it's important to work with an organization that mirrors your values. So ask them hard questions about what's important to them and what they're looking for in a student. Ask to speak to alumni and current students. If they can't or won't let you talk to current students or alums, that's a big red flag. ReSkilled is brought to you by Onlia, an e-learning production company located on Treaty 6 land in Amasquatchie, Waskayakan, also known as Edmonton, Canada. This episode was produced by Beau Desonier, William Fritzberg, Mel Giel, Adriana Lopez Ferrero, and me, Jeff Woodward.
Onlia.